Hello folks, we're going to give a preparation schedule starting from April all the way till November. The PDF of this underlying presentation is available. Again, you'll be able to find this in the description. Please do click on that and download that and have that because it's super useful to do this. We've done something different. Like we've done this originally a couple of months ago. There was a beautiful framework sitting there. We got tons of feedback. We've taken that, we've kind of tweaked it a little bit, but we've kept all the parts that worked intact. So it's a month-wise schedule. Day-wise schedule is too aggressive for us to plan for you. That you have to figure out a way. Some people work on weekends, some people have weekends free, some people are morning people, evening people, all of that. And so this is a fabulous framework. Use this framework, tailor it for yourself, create a schedule, stick a pin for a 6-week run and run with it. Right? So how have we done this? We said, look, there are 3 phases to the preparation part. One is funda building, just understanding grammar structure, understanding reading and passages and paragraphs, understanding simple data interpretation frameworks, percentages and growth rates and market shares and sequencing puzzles, all of that, getting the building blocks in. Second part is speed building. In the end, we're attempting to have a crack at a competitive exam. And so it is important whether you are in a place where you can solve 7 questions in quant or 9. There's a dramatic difference between these two. So you consolidate and you build speed. Now speed is an output variable. You can't sit and say, I'll do this faster. You have to sit and say, I'll practice tons of questions. I will incidentally become quicker. So don't set a reading speed, don't set a solving speed, don't set a cracking speed, any of this as variables to track. Even if you're tracking it, don't look to figure out ways of amping it up. You can't keep a paragraph in your hand and say, now I will read it n words per minute. Doesn't work. You can, then your understanding will go out of the window. You read so much that you become better at grasping, better and quicker. Right? The reading backbone facilitates this, but speed is an output variable, not an input variable. Keep that in mind. Right? Finally, is mocks. Mocks I don't need to super explain. Mocks we know. Take lots of practice exam to be ready for this. Right? This is a framework for this. What have we done? We have said, look, this is a quant section, what we focus on. There is a, quant, LRDI and verbal. There's the funda part, practice and revision, speed building part, and a mock part to this. And so it's like a big table. We've kept the sizes kind of proportional to the time you need to spend. And so if you look at this in the early part of the preparation, the funda part will be bigger, learning part, and the quant part will be bigger. The syllabus for quant is vast, a lot. And so you'll unwittingly find yourself spending more time with quant when you start preparing for quant. Over time, you should add other layers to it. And so start with arithmetic. Arithmetic is the home ground. There's a wonderful analysis video also that we have done about how CAT 2024 was different and how it was not different. And so it was different and not different. So it's a good video. Have a look at it. And it charts a kind of redefined path for how to prepare for CAT 2024 quants. Not dramatically different. The big takeaway is arithmetic is still super crucial before you go to adding other layers. And arithmetic is topic like percentages, profit and loss, ratios, mixtures, allegations, speed time, races, averages, pipes and cisterns, work and time, simple interest, compound interest, those of them. We put a few of these to start with, percentages, profit and loss, all of that. When you're thinking about logical reasoning, data interpretation, add the standard templates first, either of DI or of LR. For DI is pie chart bar graphs. For LR, it is simple sequencing puzzles. Now, remember, CAT questions are nothing like this. They're not obvious and straightforward, but you need to do this to reach that point. Verbal, know the question types. What is this game? But really, the ball game is sitting here. Read 1 hour daily. Reading muscle takes months to build. Make sure you're putting the effort to build a reading muscle. If reading muscle is built, then verbal ideas start making sense. I don't know if you found this yourself in this position. Suppose you go to the gym or someplace and then they give some super crucial input about how you should do your reps like this or whatever. And then if you're a newbie, none of it makes sense because your body is not tuned to anything. Your muscles are just not ready. So the nuance between doing 3 reps of 10 and 2 reps of 15 are all nonsense. I'm not able to lift this thing. But if you hang in there, which I personally have never done, over 2 months, 3 months, then the difference between that starts to make sense. So for inputs given by by a Jatin or me or any of our other teachers, or anywhere you go to the YouTube to say how to resolve between two choices, how to pick the right passage, how to get the central idea, all of that. Your mind is ready only if you have built the reading muscle. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of ideas dumped on one head, and it can lead to muddled thinking. If this brain muscle, reading muscle is not built, you're cooked. So start that on day one and keep at it, because it takes a while to build. This is the framework. Fine. So what do we do subsequent month? We actually double down on arithmetic and said, look, spend 2 months on arithmetic, put it in the bag, because lots of quant comfort comes from here. You're going to be dealing with ratios and ideas and linear equation forming and simple percentages in LRDI and everywhere, number system, geometry, everywhere. So get this comfortably in place. By the time you're on to arithmetic 2, start revising, revisit arithmetic 1. Revision for quant is super crucial, because if you learn percentages on April 5th and then go on to other topics in April 8th, 9th, 10th and come back to percentages on June 5th, you'll take your book, look at the paper, and it'll feel like you're starting percentages all over again. If you give a 3-month gap, it just goes out of the head. Learning happens on a spiral. You learn, revisit, add one more layer, go to the next topic, keep revisiting. So if you do topic 1, 2, 3, 4, you have to revise 1, 2. Otherwise, it'll just fly away. If you revise percentages well, your understanding of ratios will improve. If you revise percentages once, the second revision will go rapidly. But you have to build a sequence. You can't say, I'll finish all of quant for 3 months and then revise all of quant. That doesn't work. Your revision schedule should be in step with the learning schedule with a slight lag. That consolidation is super crucial. That is what is going to facilitate speed building. So for some of us, 33.33% is 1 by 3 automatically, right? For some it is not. For some, 37.5% is 3 by 8. For few it is not. So you should do so many questions that you look at 37.5% and your brain automatically draws the link to 3 by 8. And that comes when you revise and practice. So be relentless with this. When you're adding this, you revisit this also, but this to start with. Around about this time, you should say, look, I'm going to take a mock just to see what this is. Take one mock to know, hey, what the landscape of this mock taking is about, right? Then for quant, I think from now on it becomes more self-explanatory. I don't have to speak too much. Add algebra to it, because algebra is a bigger topic and it helps being comfortable with variables. And so linear and quadratic equation, polynomials, APGP, logarithms, set theory. Put this under algebra. Set theories can come under arithmetic or algebra, it doesn't matter. Logarithms again can come either way. I would put progressions also in the intersection only. But these are simple end of algebra, except maybe polynomials. But the point of polynomials relevant to us is still straightforward. Right? So add this layer and revisit aggressively, and go to a point where you're taking a mock every 10 days, every 15 days. You still need to get onto the mock treadmill, but not this early, but get there. Get there. Mock treadmill is 1 or 2 per week. Now it is 1 every 10 days, 1 every 15 days. It can't be that you have not taken a mock at all. And you should be able to refer back to the last mock I took. I scored this much. You have to, that sentence has to come. Right? So by this time you're on to more topic-wise things in logical reasoning, and more patterns, real questions, not just reading and getting the pattern in verbal. You should get on to a point where you say, I'm going to do 1 passage per day or 2 passages per day. If this is what you need beefing up on, then it's 2 passages per day. If you're rather comfortable and you've been reading for a long time, it could be just 1 passage per day. I put 2, but 1 or 2, you take the call on that. Okay? After this, we add geometry. You go to the tougher parts of algebra, which is inequalities, functions, and then start with the basics in geometry. Revise arithmetic and geometry. By now, you're on a 1 mock per week schedule, starting July. This stays intact, but the focus shifts to here. You've done the DALR basics. Now you're saying, look, either CAT level questions or actual previous year CAT questions. I'm on a treadmill for saying 2 sets per day. Starting July all the way till September, you do 2 sets per day. You're putting 200 sets in your bag. And that builds your muscle to process data and do it. Same 2 RCs per day. Right? If you're weak in one and strong in the other, you can do 2 DALR sets and 1 RC, or 2 RCs and 1 DALR set. You can shift it around like that, but this is the ballpark you're looking to achieve. Geometry 2 is trigonometry, mensuration, coordinate geometry. Add that. Coordinate geometry, trigonometry are the meatier parts. revise this, whatever we have learned in the previous month. If you notice, increasingly the mock thing is becoming broader, the revision thing is becoming broader, and quant is shrinking. Right? These two become bigger progressively. You have done the quant syllabus covering muscle memory building, the process part of it already. From now, you should be saying, look, all three sections have 1/3 weightage. Why am I doubling down on quant? And so shift out of the quant focused mentality part by July, August. Don't think of CAT preparation as quant preparation. The more mocks you take, the more you'll realize that quant is only 1/3 of the paper. It might come of use in DILR, but quant is only 1/3. So you need to be really good at this also, and especially when you take this, you'll realize that these play a big role. And so from now, it is going to be more on an even keel. By September, finish off number theory and modern math. The sequence between algebra, geometry and modern math, you can pick based on your comfort level. For some, geometry comes before algebra. For some, algebra comes before geometry and modern math. We have put algebra ahead because last year said look, lots of X's and Y's, and algebra comes if used in arithmetic also. Number theory and modern math, we have put it more towards the end because this is permutation, combination, number theory. You get 2 questions maximum, perhaps 3, not more than that. Not heavily tested, so we say, look, don't worry too much about that. Fine. This is kind of self-explanatory. Stick to the treadmill. From now, after this, is mock driven. The last 2 months, October, November, the last 60 days, take a mock, analyze it, fill gaps. So you take a mock and you realize that you've scored 94th percentile, but really your quant, you could have got 2 more questions, right? In DILR, you selected 1 wrong passage. You put markers in your head saying, how can I address this? And you realize in quant, your geometry fundas are all out. Fill the gap in geometry. In LRDI, you struggle with set theory puzzle. Do 2 questions in Venn diagram. Fill that. Read for an hour extra if your reading muscle is weak. Then go take the next mock. By this time, you should have kind of covered syllabus, kind of done consolidation, kind of done speed building, all of that. Your revising will reinforce speed, reinforce fundas. But here on in, it's only mocks. The last 50, 60 days, it's completely about mocks. If you can take a mock every 3rd day, brilliant. So if you should have a plan to do 15 to 20 mocks at least in the last 50 days, which basically means you're on a mock routine. 2 hours for taking a mock, 4 hours for analyzing, 5, 6 hours for kind of filling the gap. Twice per week at least is your schedule. By this time, you're taking mock should be second nature. You know what you're doing. You're not processing these decisions. You automatically know what you're doing. That's the place you want to reach. We will keep updating this. We will keep revisiting. We'll also keep talking to people saying how, when we go to the mock season, we'll say how to take the mocks, how to analyze mocks, all of that. I think it's a rather brilliant framework. The PDF is available. Check out the description. A detailed day-wise schedule is also available. Again, the link for that will be available in the description. One thing with all our students at 2IIM kept telling us, at least I got this as a theme. There's lots of guys who cracked this exam who did well. They said, look, you need to own your preparation. My plan, my strengths, my weaknesses, my schedule, my gap filling, my mocks, my rhythms. So you need to get a hang of what works for you. What is your plan? So grab onto that. You should, suppose you're a morning person, you should be preparing from 5 to 7. You're a late night person, 10 p.m. to 1 in the night. If you're quant heavy, if quant is comfortable, then push out quant, amp up logical reasoning, keep reading. And that customization from if you have already taken it once, what are the takeaway from that? That customization you should do. If you're starting afresh and you're fresher, you take it for the first time, take this as a theme. So that you start off now in April and May and then tweak it. By the time it's June, you should be like, okay, I like this, but this is my variant of this. Customize it for yourself and then have a plan. Super guys, best wishes if you can.